water issues as well. Now, to help me do the discussion, I've been joined by Engineer George Esiedu, who is with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, and he happens to be the coordinator for Gamma Sanitation and Water Project. And I also have Mr. Smith Fred, who is the first Secretary, Water and Climate at the Embassy of the Netherlands. And then I have Mr. Lawrence Ofori-Addo, who's a project manager, water and sanitation for the urban poor. So, rich panel, very good conversation. Welcome to the studios.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good. So you are closest to me. Let me start from you. We've heard a number of statistics from the World Health Organization and UNICEF indicating to us that, for example, over 2.4 billion people are without toilets, and then 1 out of 10 people defecate openly because they have no other option but to do so. Let's come to the Ghanaian context. What is the situation like on the ground?
So this is the situation. By the year 2000, we had experienced an explosion of urban settlements. That means that huge numbers of people have moved into the urban areas. The sad thing is that most of these people are moving into low-income areas, areas that do not have sufficient infrastructure to keep up with the pace of the movement. As we speak, only 12.5% of our population has access to safe sanitation or improved sanitation.
Okay.
And when we talk of improved sanitation, we mean people who have access to toilets that are not shared by several households and are safe as well. By 2035, we are going to have 65% of our population in urban areas. And again, most of these people are going to be in low-income areas. So there's really a great challenge to keep up with the pace.
I see. Engineer, let me bring you into the conversation since you work with the local government and rural government. So even if this is the issue in the urban areas, what's really happening at the rural areas?
The situation in the rural areas is even worse. In the urban sector, if you meet 10 people, only 2 of them have access to improved toilet facility. So the tendency is that the 8 other people that you meet do not have access to improved toilet facility, and that means that they are exposed to contamination by feces. So that is how bad the situation is, and the ministry is aware of this, and a number of interventions has been put in place towards addressing this. Even though the pace is a little slow, we think that we could do something more than that. At least effort is underway at the ministerial level, at government level, in attempt to address this challenge.
Okay, so let me bring you into the conversation, Smith Fred. How does water sanitation feed into the bigger picture of climate change and all that conversation?
The Netherlands Embassy, together with the Ghana government, has developed a program which we call the Ghana Netherlands WASH program. Okay. And WASH is drinking water, but it also includes sanitation, hygiene, and the treatment of solid and liquid waste. At the moment, this program consists of 16 projects that are in implementation and that provide services on a market-based approach. Government, the Ministry of Local Government, plays a very important role in setting the scene, creating the enabling environment, but we are trying to promote that apart from government, also other stakeholders play a role in WASH, particularly private sector and NGOs like my friend from WASUP. Okay. And in our projects, we try to convey the message that waste has a value. Waste can be recycled. And don't waste it by simply dumping it, but try to make new use of it, for example, by turning it into compost or making electricity, making biogas. Waste has some very essential elements that can be used. And in our projects, we try to make this a reality.
Okay, interesting. So let me come back to you, Lawrence. The issue of sanitation in Ghana, it's more or less like something that has persisted over several years. Do you see over the years, with your direct experience on the ground, that things are improving? Because next year, I don't want us to come and sit here and have the same conversation with very worrying statistics. Do you see improvement as you engage on the ground?
Currently, there is huge dependence on the use of public toilets in our areas. We honestly are not going to move away from this in the next few decades. It's going to take a very gradual process. But with the current approaches and models that are being developed, we see some positive movement. But honestly, it will be very gradual. We have public-private partnerships that are all considering market-based approaches to sanitation. The theme for this year's World Toilet Day is Toilet and Jobs. And you would have examples where innovative businesses are being created for private sector to promote toilets and sell toilets and make a business out of this. So we are likely to see some improvement, but very gradual.
It will be gradual. Interesting. So toilets and jobs, is there a direct correlation?
Sure. And I'll give an example.
Yes, go ahead.
In the Ghan West Municipal Assembly, for instance, where my organization is typically working,
Okay.
There are a couple of young men who are working as toilet sales agents. Their job is to sell toilets, promote them, and make a commission from the manufacturers of these toilets. If you're a client who does not have access to money to get your toilets, they connect you to microfinance institutions that are available. Currently, Fidelity Bank, for instance, has microfinance products. HFC Boafo has another microfinance products. There are several of these happening, not only in Accra, but in other parts of the country.
So by toilet, you mean the system, the entire system?
Sure.
Okay, all
Sure,
right.
the whole technology.
All right. Engineer, on the note of technology, let me come up to you. People have argued, especially most of the landlords we have engaged with, that it is very expensive to put up a very modern toilet facility for your occupants to use and all that. But how is technology playing into this conversation to reduce the cost of, providing something that can indeed salvage the situation?
Thank you for this question. I think you are right on point. The biggest challenge we are confronted with now is that most of the appropriate technologies that is seeking to address household toilets happen to be a little expensive. We are talking about the ranges of 4,000 Ghana cedis to own a toilet. And most of these people are the low income, very close to the poor. And so if they have to set their priorities into investing in acquiring toilet to the other needs that is competing, you can be sure that they will place this to the bottom. And so accessing toilet is one of the challenges that is confronting us now. For this reason, under the Gamma Sanitation and Water Project, effort has been made to reduce the cost of accessing toilets. What we are saying is that we will assist you, all the MMAs in the Greater Accra Metropolitan Area, we will assist you, reach you 50% halfway to be able to access the toilet facility. And so if you're able to mobilize your contribution to 50%, and we give you the platform to mobilize these funds. Most of them are peasant traders and people who are not into formal employment, and so they make money on daily basis, and so we give them a platform. We are using a Tigo platform, and they contribute like the money wallet. So they contribute, and when they reach 50%, we are able to provide a facility. We are encouraging all those in the Greater Accra Metropolitan Assembly to take advantage of this project, and then reach out to the municipal assemblies, register, and if you're able to mobilize 50% of the cost, we'll give you a well improved sanitation facility. This is the effort that we are making towards achieving this goal, and also to reduce the cost to the beneficiaries.
Okay, that's good to hear. Let me come back to you, Mr. Smith-Fred. So far, the engagement your government has with the government of Ghana and the implementation of the project, when you go to the grounds and you see the impact of it, are you happy? Is it something that you would want to encourage both partners to indeed put all they have in it to ensure that we make changes in the lives of the average person?
Definitely, and if you allow me to name an example.
Yes, please.
One of our projects works with a Ghanaian company, Biofill, which produces good technology for toilets using very little water and in an economical way. We're helping this company to scale up their production, and by scaling it up from a few hundred per year to a few thousand per year, the costs will be reduced considerably, making this technology more affordable also for poor communities and poor households.
I see.
So the way these projects progress, we are quite happy with the progress. We also make a contribution to the statistics for sanitation in Ghana, which are at the moment not very good, but we see progress and we see the development going in a good direction. And we stand ready as the Netherlands to support Ghanaian stakeholders in the sector with technology, with finance, with advice and technical assistance.
I see. That's very good to know. Let me come back to you, Engineer, as we try and wrap up. There's been lots of conversation about the state of our public toilets. So, for example, if you happen to be at a shopping mall or shopping center in Makola or Kaneshi or whatever it is, and then touchwood, you get some very terrible stomach upset. It appears it is difficult to get a very convenient place to actually, get to solve the issue for you, if I have to put it that way, for the purposes of morning TV. But let me speak to you. Can you tell us, what is the government doing, the metropolitan assemblies and all doing to ensure that for the places where there are a lot of people coming for market purposes, for engagement and other things, at least people have access to public toilets that can indeed help us avoid the issues of people just defecating anywhere and throwing it anywhere?
Yeah, when we talk of improved toilet facilities, largely we are moving away from public toilet facilities. But that's not to say that in market areas or commercial areas, you cannot have those facilities. Okay. You can. But the policy is to attempt to have toilets that will serve a few people. The issue is that we have a lot of good policies. The challenge is the implementation and the monitoring of it. And what we need to do now is that we need to enforce our laws and make sure that as we develop, if you are a commercial, you are into commercial business that attract people to your facility, at least you must ensure that you have an appropriate toilet facility that people can use. Now, this is something that we need to actually enforce. And if somebody is having such a challenge, he can move into any of those commercial facilities and be able to have access to an improved facility and to be able to deliver whatever he wants to do. So first of all, we need to put our minds to it. Government must be committed. The NGOs and everybody must be committed to this challenge and be able to make effort to implement and monitor. And this is what I'm sure the awareness has now gone far. Because read through all the manifestos that we are reading, you realize that governments are putting effort towards addressing the sanitation challenge. You read from the NDC, the President talking of setting up sanitation authority, and from the MPP equally, they are also looking at some 1 million funds to the constituencies, and some of the uses is to address sanitation challenges. This is an effort in the right direction. At least at higher level, we are getting government getting committed and seeing the seriousness of the challenge. We will continue to push the agenda and to engage all the relevant stakeholders and to ensure that this time we put our minds and effort to it. It's not an issue of policy on the paper, but at least we should see to the implementation and enforce the laws. And I'm sure we'll be able to make that.
Great. So I'll give you the final word. Tomorrow, is there any special thing happening? Is there any lineup of activity or a program that you're going to get yourselves engaged in on the day?
Sure. If you'd allow me to mention something quickly related to public toilets. So WhatsApp is testing a model in Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly and in the Ghanwest Municipal Assembly to professionalize the operation and maintenance of public toilets. What is being done is that the database of all the 400 and more public toilets in Kumasi and about 58 public toilets in Ghanwest have been mapped out. Every quarter there is a monitoring of these toilets and they are awarded scores. At the end of the year, best performing public toilets are provided prizes. So during this period of World Toilet Day, these public toilets that have performed best are going to receive some prizes. Today, an event is happening in Ghanwest to award prizes to them. Tomorrow, there is a national event in Bolgatanga led by the Ministry of Local Government. And then water and sanitation for the urban poor in collaboration with the Dutch government is also holding an event at Kotobabi at the Abavana School Park. And we are inviting the general public and stakeholders of the sector to be present, so we mark the day and create awareness of toilets in every compound.
Okay, all right. So let me say a big thank you to you, Engineer George Esiedu, who's on the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and coordinator for Gamma Sanitation and Water Project. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Mr. Smith Fred, who is the First Secretary, Water and Climate at the Embassy of the Netherlands. And a big thank you to Mr. Lawrence Ofori Abdul, who is a project manager for water and sanitation for the urban poor. Thank you, and we wish you well in the celebrations tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Now, before